National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan answered questions from reporters during Friday's White House press briefing. CNN's Caitlin Collins brought up Vladimir Putin's recent speech, in which he slammed the West and the United States, claiming it is the only country to have used nuclear weapons. Collins asked Sullivan if Putin's rhetoric is worrying to the United States. Sullivan affirmed that the U.S. has not had to change its nuclear posture, as they do not believe there are currently any imminent indications that Putin will use nuclear weapons in Ukraine.
Jake, two questions. Putin clearly had nuclear weapons on his mind today when he was giving this speech. He said the West is deceitful, hypocritical. The United States is the only country to have used nuclear weapons. And he said, by the way, they have created a precedent. How worrying is that to you?
I've been clear myself, President Biden has been clear, our administration has been clear that there is a risk, given all of the loose talk and the nuclear saber rattling by Putin, that he would consider this, and we've been equally clear about what the consequences would be. We have communicated that directly to the Russians. We do not presently see indications about the imminent use of nuclear weapons. We are, of course, monitoring that carefully and staying in close consultation with allies and partners, but this is something that we are attuned to, taking very seriously, and communicating directly with Russia about, including the kind of decisive responses the United States would have if they went down that dark road.
Is the risk of that higher now than it was 6 or 7 months ago?
Well, what's interesting is that at various points over the course of this conflict, including right at the outset, Putin has brandished the nuclear card. He's doing it again. So the risk has been there from the start. It's there today. I'm not going to characterize its exact level, only to say that we have been taking this seriously for some time, and we continue to take it seriously now.
Yeah. One broader question before you move on. What lessons from 2014 and from Crimea are you using now? What did you learn from that you're applying here?
Well, there's a number of, just in terms of the tactics of how things unfolded in Crimea, including the fact that you didn't have the kind of sustained military conflict associated with it that you do in these cases. That means you cannot draw the analogy too far. On the other hand, one of the things that we have been clear about from the start of this conflict, and even in the months that preceded it, when I stood at this podium and warned that it was coming, is that we were going to be prepared with clear, swift, and very certain responses. And so when I stand here before you today to talk about sanctions, to talk about new funding, to talk about new transfers of military equipment and diplomatic initiatives that are unfolding the very day that Putin gives his speech, that is all the product of months of planning and coordination with our allies and partners so that we do not allow time to elapse, so that we seize the diplomatic initiative, and so that we communicate very clearly we will not accept this, and we will help equip the Ukrainians to push back aggressively against it, even as we rally the international community to condemn it. That has been our strategy from the start. We have tried to be as clear and transparent about that as possible, warning what was going to come, indicating what we would do, and then following through and doing it. And that's what we're doing today.